Yep, see, that's how we get it. That's how we get it.
That's great.
You get out the mud. That's like, you get it out the mud for real. That's how we do it here. Safeeakh Farms, baby. We get it out the mud.
For real?
All muscle. I mean, you know, it's all growing out the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I met Brandon in 2005 when we were both freshmen at Howard University.
for maybe you remember too, we reminiscing on the 618 parties. Remember the 618 parties? Them sick, where you walking on campus and you just look and you see some chalk somewhere, 618, like 618, like, oh, it's cracking tonight, like, right?
And to see him go from the School of B to running a farm is not only impressive, but also motivating.
Myself too, I'm getting into things now myself, so I think it's a perfect time for HU students currently, as well as alumni, to kind of link up and show that you can do certain paths that everybody's already on, but here's some other things that you might not have considered.
And he was the first person I thought of when I came up with this project.
When I made those changes and seen the benefit for myself and choosing more carefully what I'm putting in my body and looking into the origin of who produced it, that's what got me getting into the wine for my family, just health benefits. But then of course we want to see, well, what's the origin now? Because I'm looking at origins now. Okay, well, this is good, we get some benefits now, but where did this come from? Did it come from Europe? Did it come from wherever? Just wherever it came from, let's find out the origin, see, you know, what's the foundation? And in doing so, lo and behold, it tracked right back to us. So I was like, oh, okay. So it's organic, you know what I'm saying? It's coming out the mud. So, you know, California, all this stuff was around, but I didn't even get aware acutely of it until I started getting into production that I could have been doing this whole time, but COVID put that pressure. You know what I'm saying? COVID had people kind of forced to become creative, even if you weren't before, or as myself saying, I was born and raised, lived in California this whole time, and I took certain things for granted, but when I had a necessity and a need to make some things happen, now I'm able to become more resourceful and look at what was around me this whole time and be like, damn, it's all been here. And you know, agriculture is what even got America to where it's at now, off of the hard work of we know who. You know what I'm saying? So we just going back to the old ways, but we also trying to take a position in ownership as well. And so I did this infused wine because I found that in Egypt, that was their ancient healthcare, was that they would take herbs, medicinal herbs and everything, and they would put them into the beer or the wine because the alcohol content is extracting the medicinal properties, and then they would distribute that to the people. Y'all want to stay healthy? You want some health care? You want some benefits? Drink this bottle, like on us, on the government. There's so many ways that you can incorporate it, and again, it's like it's waiting to blow, to be real. So we're saying the Zooms that you was doing, like, oh, they're doing tastings on Zoom, and there's a market of, I almost said something ignorant. There's a market of more aware people and aware in the sense of this particular industry, that they're waiting also for some people who look like them or share the same values as them to pop up and do what we do, which is we don't only sell products, but we add that flavor into it. We add that ambiance into the experience that when it comes to wine, end of the day, that's what it's all about. And with many products, it's not necessarily about, you know, both cars is gonna get you from A to B, but that luxury car versus that economy car is gonna give you a different experience. All of a sudden, folk just sipping wine, and they not sipping any kind of wine, they sipping that that Opus One. These are some top brands. They sipping on some $100, $200 bottle of wine, you know what I'm saying? And talking about how classy it is and talking about how they just up and travel to Europe to go do wine tasting. We all know there's a very, you know, a high class and ambiance associated with this. But from my perspective, it's more about trying to take that black dollar and use it to fund industries that may not have always been, have a high concentration of black presence, right? So when you're telling me that that's not gonna happen or we're gonna put a blockade in front of you, that just let me know I'm on the right track and encourage me to just go above and beyond, to just create Safeeakh, which is abundance. So that way you can't stop it because it's just overflowing. Safeeakh in and of itself, it's a Hebrew word that it means overflow and abundance, but it's coming from the word that is from volunteer plants, in the sense of you had a harvest and those spilled kernels as you carrying in your harvest just go on the ground, and then, you know, a couple months later you look up like, I didn't plant that. It came up on its own accord. I may have to stop one day, but by that time, somebody else doing the same thing that I'm doing, and I could go to their house and they could give me some vegetables, and you know what I'm saying? I could keep doing exactly what I was already doing, whether you stop me or not, because it ain't gonna stop.